Can you hear me? Little Miss Sue. Hold on, let me unmute you. Okay, now I should be able to hear you and you should be able to hear me.
Yeah. So
Are
I'm
you
still
there?
trying to upload all. Yes, I'm here.
There you
Can you hear
are.
me?
I got the headphones on. Okay. Okay, cool kid. We're gonna start from scratch here. First of all, what'd you think of the property?
Right. The property, okay, so first of all, I think the neighborhood is very nice. So across the street, there is some apartment complex, but where the property and that area is a residential area, and I didn't see any graffiti. It's very clean, but the property is only half block away from the main street, so it's kind of noisy.
Oh, is it?
Um,
Kind of on a busy
just
street.
a little bit. It's not that bad.
Okay.
Well, which street I don't know. I have to Google it. Um, I think outside the house looks very nice. The inside is still nice. The only thing is I'm worried about the condition, like foundation of the place, because have you got a chance to see the video yet?
I haven't. So why don't we do this? It sounds like you like it. Is that right?
I do like it. The thing is there are tons of
That's amazing.
cracks on the wall and ceilings.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we do this? I'll go ahead and do a review after I see your pictures and your video. I'll go ahead and do a review, and then we'll talk about sending over an offer today. So depending on what we see.
Okay.
But why don't we do this? We're going to run through, since we had audio difficulty on our very first meeting, why don't we take this right from the top? Okay, so I'm going to start off from meeting you and the very first initial email that got us started here. And then we're going to walk through the first property that you found.
All right.
And that you evaluated. And then I'm going to take some questions from you and go from there. So
Okay.
First of all, it was great to meet you, of course, downtown Denver. And you got started, in your first email to me, it said we had some goal setting, okay? And you started doing your leads. It's been 8 days. So this was 8 days ago that you started looking for your leads. I'm going to go into your first lead here. Your first lead, well, leads are, properties, right? Because you're in the property business. So we decided that you wanted to make $200,000 a year. So here's your procedures. Yeah. You wanted to make $200,000 a year, and you wanted to do your first deal and make $50,000 within the first 3 months, right?
Yes.
So here's your start. These are your goals. First quarter must have one project by January 15th, a winter deal, and then you're going to have a spring deal, a summer deal, and a fall deal. Each one has to average 50,000 or more, right? So what I was going over with you is the target is, to have a deal every 30 leads or so. So that's going to be our target. Now you've done 11, today 12, right?
Yes.
So you've done 12 leads in the last week and a half, basically, we'll say. So you'll get a deal within the first month if we have that target of 30 leads. Now you're working on right now, you're acquiring leads through condemned derelict properties, right? The lead today, it was a pass me off. I passed it off to you. I also showed you that lead that you had, the IRS lead. Did you ever see that one?
Yes, that's in Greeley.
Yeah, up by Greeley, correct. Okay, but I'm going to start providing you, that was an IRS auction right here, okay? Then there's trustee auctions. As we go along through the next few weeks, I'm just going to let you know, I'm going to show you how to do the auctions, how to do the IRS. I'm going to drop you off leads from each one of these other sources, okay? So that you can become familiar with them while you're processing that derelict and condemned list, okay?
Okay.
Now, we went over the research, So you know how to find leads, and you're slowly being integrated into each one of these source types, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right now you're focused on
Yes.
condemned or derelict properties. Now the research, you use the assessor records. Great job. Was that pretty clear on how to do that? You didn't have any difficulty?
Yeah, that was really clear.
Okay. And then using the G drive, was that pretty clear? And did you pick that up pretty easily?
I
It
picked
seems
that
like
up.
you did.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And then and then using YouTube, and tell me to slow down if I'm going too fast, because some of this
All
is
right.
old hat for me, but I want to make sure it's very clear for you being new to this type of information or this type of sourcing for lead generation. Okay. So the
Uh-huh.
YouTube, it sounds like you have that down. It sounds like you were uploading today while driving home. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's not tell the police about that, but and make sure and be safe out there.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't put the full address of the property on. I was just like 6404 and done.
But you found it online. You know where it is, correct?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, very cool. So obviously you're sharing that YouTube video with me today, but that's
Mm-hmm.
also going to go out to to others, people who are doing estimating, valuation, anything else. Because as I discussed with you, I have literally not done any of this research for years and years now. That's why I'm a little clunky around the websites. Because what I did is I did these trainings like I'm doing for you, and then I handed it off to my office manager, and then she delegated a virtual assistant to go ahead and take care of all of these, this research and needs for valuating, estimating, etc. So, and now let's get into the Trulia and Zillow. Did you have any problem with that training, or was that
Uh-huh.
pretty clear?
No, I don't. But still, I have
No.
a problem to calculate the how many percentage has increased or decreased value.
Okay,
Because
so the trend said the trend,
this
the
morning I
historic
calculated.
trend.
Yes.
So, what difficulty are you having with the historic trends on Trulia and
All
Julia
right.
and
So
Zillow?
all right. So you did a valuation for the property, 2345 South Linley Court. Then the trend you calculate as 18% has since 2009 has gone up for 18%, and I calculate that as 32%.
Okay, hold on. I could be incorrect. Linnae Court, Denver. Okay. Check
Uh-huh.
this out real quick. So, Linnae,
Sorry, I'm sorry, Todd. You may hear some noise. That's from my cat.
your cat is your cat a carpenter?
Oh my God. No, my cat is. She's just constantly hitting the kitchen near door.
Okay, so how do we spell Linnae Court again?
Um,
Liney?
Linley.
Oh, Linley, right?
Yes. Excuse my
Linley Court.
Chinglish.
Your English isn't great. It's pretty good though. It's pretty good. Lindley,
I
that's
hate
right. Lindley Court. I'm sorry. Oh no, I love it. You make the best student. You came here from another country. You're motivated. You're ambitious. You're going to do great. It's exactly what we want.
I have
Did you?
to.
Yeah, that's a good motivation when you absolutely have to be successful. There is no
Yes.
substitute. There's no turning back. Okay, so here we are, Linley Court, Linley, by the way. So here's our valuation. So the Harvey Park, which is what I go by, right? The neighborhood. So it's the
Yes,
double tap
I
here
did
instead of
that
the
one
triple
too.
tap. So it's this one here. So since the crash, let's find the low. So the low looks like right around October, July, somewhere around here, right? It's 154, 153. So we'll say 153. Okay. Now
Okay.
let's do the percentage though to make it easier on us. So here we go. October, it was down 4.4 down 5% basically here. We'll call that the bottom, okay? So it's down 5%.
How did you calculate down 5%?
It's up 18. Right here, see it says negative 4.75.
I can't
Negative
see
4
at
point.
all.
You can't see it? Right here it says negative 4.99.
All right, okay.
Can you see my screen? It says Harvey
Yes.
Park, negative 4.99. This home, it says negative 3.59, but we're not going to go by the home. The reason why we don't do home specific is homes can fluctuate. They can be foreclosed, they can be distressed. So we go with a broader base, which is the Harvey Park neighborhood that it's in, but we don't do the broad base, which is Denver, because it's too broad, right? It's too big of a spectrum. So we're going to stick with the neighborhood to get a really good feel for that value in that neighborhood. Now, right here at the bottom, July of 2009, I have it down 4.99%. Now, today, it is 17.94%. So it's up 18%. Now, if you take it from the bottom, it's up 18 plus 5%. So it'd be up, like you said, 23%, right?
No, I calculated 32%.
I'm not too sure where you'd learned your math skills, but
The thing is, I
we'll have
just
to work on
realized
that.
something.
or,
While
or double check your
I
work.
just I realized something that you got the estimate as a percentage charge, and before that I did not give the percentage, so I was calculating the percentage.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
But yeah, just something to take into consideration. And just to let you know, you can either take it off the ground zero here, which is your baseline, or you can take it off the low. Now, what I did when I did your valuation for this specific property, let's go in here. So I have your own folder, and this was 2360 Lindley, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go into your folder, and I said that it was up 18% because I do the baseline. I like to be conservative.
All right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so let's see what we have here. So the trend, 18%. That's what I put right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trending up 18%. Okay, so does that make sense? And then, of course, we answer all these questions. It sounds like you're really clear with this. This is pretty easy, right, to follow through with that Zillow and Trulia training. So pretty easy to do here. Now, I haven't done this one for you yet, but I'll have all of your trainings right here, your video trainings on how I evaluated the property doing the comparable properties.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you've already viewed one of those. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, very good. All right, so let's go back to your procedures. So we did Zillow and Trulia. You're good there. Now, obviously, you had your broker. We uploaded that video. Congratulations. Christine's the best. And then we got into evaluating the property using the two parts, the Zillow and Trulia to fill out the first part of the valuation form, like right here, down to line item 16, is Zillow and Trulia. And then we started with 17 and went through the MLS, right?
That's good.
Using the multiple listing service. Now, did you have any issues with these videos or using the MLS?
I don't have issues with using MLS, but I do have a question about question number 18. It says distressed. What do you mean distressed?
Okay, so let's go to line item 18. Actually, it's what is the, oh, okay. So what is the low end for the neighborhood? So this one's 174K. Did it sell over asking price? Where are they selling? Are they distressed? So in other words, if the low end for that neighborhood is a new property, okay, or a renovated property, it would say, instead of saying distressed here, because in this case, it was a distressed property, it needed renovations. But if the low end for this neighborhood, it's a brand newly renovated 3-bedroom, 1-bath, I would put low end, newly renovated.
All right. Okay.
Okay,
So,
and it tells me what in what kind of shape that low end is. Is it a destroyed property? Is there a lot of graffiti? Is it a derelict, condemned property? Or is it a brand new, newly constructed 3-bedroom, 1-bath with a 2-car garage? Do you see what I'm saying? I'm trying to bracket what the high
Yes.
end for the neighborhood. The high end for this neighborhood, just to let you know, and I should have noted this, is newly remodeled,
Mm-hmm.
right? Remember?
Yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's the high end, newly remodeled. The low end in this neighborhood specifically was distressed. It needed renovations. Needs renovation.
All right. Okay.
Cool.
So also another term during on MLS it says CDOM. What is that?
SDOM. It stands for
No,
days on market. Now
CDO.
let's get into the MLS real quick. Okay. recolorado.com. Have you had any troubles navigating the website?
No, I don't.
Okay. Are you having fun out there looking at the different properties?
Yes. Sometimes I can't
Okay.
figure out how to use the website. I just go back and check out the YouTube video you upload to me, so can just listen to that, then use the website, learning, listen and
Oh,
learning at the same
oh,
time.
oh, good, good. Okay, well, let's do this. Why don't we go ahead and let's do a quick valuation on your latest property, which was on Raleigh Street. Do you remember the address on Raleigh?
Yeah.
60, what was it? 606?
No, 6404.
6404. Okay, 6404 Raleigh. Okay, there's Raleigh. Now we're going to go ahead and we will use the
One
draw
second.
feature.
Let me sign in first.
What you signing into?
All right. Search residential general.
Okay, so we have 10. Can you see my screen?
Uh, yes.
Okay, so 644, this is under contract, obviously. Now, just to let you know, this specific deal, is that correct, though, 6404 Raleigh? That's
Let
right,
me check
right?
that. That's right.
That is right? Okay, perfect. Now, so what happened here, just to let you know, this is a lead from a friend of ours named Jay Dobbins. Now, Jay, he's what's called a wholesaler. So Jay with House Ninjas, which you saw, which is kind of entertaining, he's kind of a character. What he does is he locks up the property, but he doesn't like to do the renovations. And then he makes a few $1,000s flipping them back to people like us who want to renovate the properties. It's called wholesaling. And we talked about it a little bit during the Real Estate Investment Association meeting you were at when I first met you. Do you remember that? So
Yes.
remember what they talked about there? They said, if you don't want to do any of the renovations, what you become is a wholesaler. That's what this gentleman does. But let's take a look at some of their
Uh,
pictures. But I
so
have a business relationship with.
all right. So basically, he just buy distressed properties, then hold on them, then sell
No,
to other
all
ones.
he does is he gets them under contract and never closes on them because he doesn't have cash to close on them. And then he flips them to people like us who have access to capital and
All right.
contractors to flip them. And then he takes a margin in between. So if you remember right, it's the list price was 218. If you remember, um, everything's selling for over ask, right now for the most part. So this would be selling for maybe 229. But this 218.5, remember his price to us is 204. So that means we get it for 204,000 if we like the property. And to be quite honest with you, I buy a lot of property from Jay, and his deals are really good for me. I usually like them. But I mean, this
All
property
right.
isn't in bad shape. It's rough, but you know what? This is a good starter home. It's real
Okay.
nice, and it's pretty big, right? It's 2,335 square feet. Pretty
Yeah.
big. 3 bedroom, 3 bath. The best thing about this property is I believe it's um, a tandem duplex. So I'll have to check
Yeah.
on zoning, but I believe it's a duplex.
I think okay, so the top floor has three bedrooms and the two bathrooms, and the lower
Okay.
floor has two bedrooms and one bath.
How many kitchens?
Or
Does
sort
it have
of
just one
two.
kitchen? Sort of two. Okay, so
Okay,
it does have a lock off. It is kind of
yes.
considered, yeah, kind of a lock off. It says here ranch, 1 story. Um, very cool. Well, and the best thing about this is it sounds like, and when I read the information on it, it sounds like what we could do is renovate the property, split off a lot, build on a lot, and sell the front property. So you'd end up with making money on the front property with the house after renovations. Then you'd make another chunk of money building on that lot, which is called a split. So it has a redevelopment
Oh,
and a development opportunity. And those are exciting for people like me because that's the
nice.
business I'm in. I'm a developer. So that's when you really
I
can see
know.
some
I feel
profit
like you can
margin.
turn everything into gold.
What's that?
I said, I think you can turn everything into gold.
I like your style. All right. You can turn everything into gold. You're a genius. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to turn some of these leads of yours into gold. Okay. So we like it. Now let's take a look around. Let's see what it's worth. It's a 3 bedroom, 3 bath, 2,000 square feet. Let's go to our single line display and let's see what we
Mhm.
have out there. So we have a tri-level. All this stuff is pretty comparable in the area. It's all pretty compatible. So if we're buying this for 204,000, I think we're going to need about 40,000 for fix up because it looks like it's in decent shape. So that means we're at 240,000. That means it's going to need to come in something around here. Let's see what this one is. This is withdrawn. This is withdrawn. Both these have been X'd out. So our high end for the neighborhood right now is 270. Let's see what we have here.
Okay.
270,000. So we're going to probably have to go a little farther out to get all the comparable properties we need. Does that make sense?
What do you mean farther? What do you mean farther out?
Okay, so farther out, our map right now we only have. Here's our single line display. Right now we only have one, and then we have the existing. Right, this is the subject property here, so it doesn't count. This one's a condominium,
Mm.
so it doesn't count. This is a 2 story that's sold for 251, but it could count. Let's see how nice that is. Here's a ranch. This might be able to count. And
Oh
this
yes,
might be
another
count.
question why I was doing this. So why I'm trying to find the um, similar properties to compare with mine. So should I use the property that's
So
already
this is
after
dated.
remodeled?
Yeah, so you want to use only properties that have been remodeled like you're going to remodel. So they have to be, in my
Okay.
case, and how we're going to be remodeling your properties, granite countertops, updated cabinetry, new carpet, new hardwood floors, new tile, new surrounds, new fixtures, everything. A brand new home on the inside. Okay. Now this one hasn't been remodeled. This is dated. Okay. I can just tell by you have a plastic countertop here. You have oak cabinets there. You have pink. That's dated. When I
So
say
can we
dated,
use
it's
dated properties
what's
to
that? I'm
compare
sorry.
with? Can I use
No,
dated properties to compare
you
with the
can't.
property?
It can't. You got to
Okay.
use like property. So it's got to be a property that's literally been renovated to the nines, as we say, renovated, 100% in order to be a good comparable property for our
All right.
evaluation. So this
Okay.
one doesn't work. Let's go to the next one. This one here sold for 214. I bet it's trashed. There's only one picture. Whenever there's only one picture of a property, you know exactly what's going on there. It doesn't have anything on the inside they want to show you, right?
All right.
Makes
Yes.
sense, right? Okay, now let's go to this one. So this one has 27 photos and dated. And I can tell right off it's dated by the carpet, the contrasting colors are dated, oak cabinets, white appliances, right? So this one isn't a good comparable either. So out of that single line display, we only have one comparable, and even it's dated. Let's go through it real quick. It's smaller. It's only 1,800 square feet. It doesn't have a split off lot. Has the oak with the plastic, okay, and then plastic surround. Really dated fixtures, cabinets. So this one's dated too. So out of all of those within a quarter of a mile, we don't have one that's a good comparable property for our renovation. So what we need to do is we go back to criteria. Okay, make sure that we have all these checked again, and then we go to map. We go to jump to address, which was 6404 Utica, right?
Right.
Or Raleigh, 6404 Raleigh. Okay, and then let's do this. Let's go out.
Half mile.
Let's go out a half mile. Click results. Now we have 47 results. Now we can get busy. Now the biggest thing I would like to do here is I'd like to find out what my high end is, right? So I'm going to hit.
Another question, like
Sure.
all the different colors, some are red, some are yellow, and some are blue. What does the blue stands for?
Okay, so you can just hover over it and see. So let's click on it. Blue is expired. Okay. And then red is sold. Orange is under contract. Okay. So that's a quick way of doing it. I like to do the hover routine to kind of look around the neighborhood. Black is a good one. Black is withdrawn as well. Okay, so you have withdrawn and expired. But those are leads that you might be able to follow up on later. And like I said, that is a lead source I haven't talked to you about, but it's one way we use to find leads as well. Okay, expired and withdrawn. Okay, so let's go back to the results. Now we have 2 pages here of good results. I always like to do the price up and down, and then go to the next page. And that way we can really hone in on what we have here. So I like to see this. This is the high end for the neighborhood, right? 1.3 million. So we know we have a high end, which is good. Now this ranch, we want to compare it to another ranch, right? So architecture with architecture. So right now, I'm not going to use that one, was expired. But these solds are all ranch 1 stories. There's a tri-level.
Why you don't want to use the one that are expired?
Well, expired won't give me a good value, a good valuation for what's selling and for how much, will it? Because it's expired. It didn't sell.
Okay.
But this gives me an idea of what's active. So this is active, the 1.3 million. And then so I want to take a look at that just to kind of see what the high end is here for the neighborhood. Okay. And look at that. Beautiful views. It's a 2-story, nice vaulted ceilings. It's going to be a beautiful home. It's a 7-figure home, right? But it's nice to see, and it's on the lake. So it's 4,000 square feet, on the lake, beautiful. So that's the high end. And I usually like to do that just to satisfy my curiosity that, hey, you know what? We do have a high end. It is a valid neighborhood. It's a good area. I know this area because I've done a ton of remodels in Arvada, but it's nice for you to start getting your head around what's hot in the area, where the hot neighborhoods are, the high price areas, and where your entry level housing is, your low priced, your hood, just to get a feel for everything. So now let's go into the 684. There's a ranch, 1 story. It's a bit bigger than ours, but it's of the same type of construction. And it's dated. Look at those cabinets. Those are horrible. That's a nightmare. I'm surprised that bathroom is just, It's been redone, but it's pretty cheesy, right? There's some paneling on the wall over here. There's some really outdated white fixtures. It's pretty rough. It's pretty rough. It's no wonder. It's no wonder this was withdrawn, right, for 684,000. Okay, so let's click off that. Let's go back to single line display, and here's our first comparable property.
What does withdraw mean?
Withdrawn. Withdrawn means it was on the market. They had it listed with a broker, and for whatever reason, they decided to withdraw from selling that property. They pulled it off the market. So it's no longer for sale. And we don't know if it was, usually it's withdrawn because it was overpriced or there were issues with the home. And expired is the same thing. When it gets expired, what it is it's listed for a certain period of time with a brokerage. So maybe it's 3, 6 months, a year. And if it goes through the entire term without selling, it expires. It's an expired listing. Okay. Good question. Good question. So this one sold, listed for 362, sold for 360. It's close to the same size, 4-bedroom, 3-bath. So really
Nice.
a pretty nice property. So this shows our higher end, and it sold pretty recently. It was on the market for 36 days. It sold this last September.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So it's a real nice looking home.
Yes, I like that kitchen.
Real nice. Okay, so this is a good comparable for us, right?
All right. Yeah.
Let's go up. So right now that bracket's a $360,000 price point.
Yeah.
Let's see this one. So this is 355, no picture. Just has one picture. So we really don't know how nice this is. So what I do with this one, it looks like it's pretty nice, right, from the exterior. So what I usually like to do is I'll peruse through here. It was built in 1998, so it's going to be pretty fresh, right? So, but it might be a little bit worn, so we'll just have to go with that. I'm going to go ahead and use it, bracketing that $355,000 price point.
Okay.
So we'll keep that one. And we have this one under contract for $350. It looks exactly the same, doesn't it? So this is the same house. It's got to be. So now this is the one with the interior photos. So a little bit colorful, but built in 1998. How bad could it be, right? So that bracket's at $350,000. Okay, so let's go back to single line display.
So do you like the older home or the newer home?
You want to bracket it with something that's the same age. But I use, if it's 10 years or more old, then I use it as a comparable because the finishes will be compatible with ours being renovated. Does that make sense? But if it's a home that's 5 years, less than 10 years old, then you get into a tricky area because that home could be of finer quality construction. It could be, more vaulted ceilings. It's a different era of, even though it's a ranch, one story as far as the style, the way we build now is so much nicer than they did 50 years ago. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so this one here, list 275, sold 293. So it's a 5-bedroom, 2-bath. So it's a little smaller, but not much. So this might be a good comparable for us to bracket the lower end, right?
Yes.
Looks pretty nice. Not bad. Contrasting colors. Let's see how the kitchen looks. Kitchen's dated. I can just tell it's oak cabinets, but it has updated appliances. Yeah. So it looks like it might have a gooseneck. Yeah, it has granite countertops. Gooseneck is your fixture, your faucet on your kitchen sink. Travertine surround on the bathtub. So this has been partially updated. The vanity hasn't been updated, but everything else has. Yeah, contrasting colors. So this has been renovated. So this brackets that lower $300,000 mark. So after reviewing these comparable properties, where do you think approximately our value is? just off the top of your head, without getting into too much detail?
350.
350 on the high end, right? 350 on the high end. So what I would say is, just to be safe, I would say 325 at the low, and I'd say 350 for the high end, right?
Okay.
For our comparable property. But our comparable property has an extra lot too, right? A tandem lot. So, and just to get into that, let's just review that real quick. Let's go back to, and it might not show it. It might not show it. Let's go to, where was it here? 6404 Raleigh. And let's see if it shows that it has an extra lot. But if it does have an extra lot in this area, that lot alone is worth anywhere from $30,000 to $60,000 minimum. Okay.
All right.
So here we go. This home has great potential on 0.4 of an acre, 1 mile to the new RTD, easy access. That's your transit system. Okay.
Yeah.
2-car garage, overhead caution, possible mold-like substance. Well, we'll have to look into that more. But if it does have a lot available, that adds an extra $50,000 to be safe for us, $50,000 in value. So if the high end is 350 and we add 50, what's our value? 400, right? So we have a $400,000 potential value for this property. We're picking it up for 204, and we need to put 40 into it, maybe 50. So we're all in at 250, and we're out at 400. Is that a good deal?
Yes. So that means we can make net profit around 150K.
Around 150 gross, right? 150 gross,
Yeah.
Which means we should net around 100 net. So that's a good deal. That's a good deal we found today.
Okay.
Good job. Okay, so let's go back to the procedure. So we've gone up to this point. We're going to have to cut this a little short here. I'm going to go to questions with you, but I'm going to try to keep this recording to less than 30 minutes if possible, and it's 37 minutes right now. So let's do this. So the next part of your training will be determining the debt on a property using the clerk and recorder. I'll send you over that training, and what you're going to use is you're going to use this information to determine what kind of offer price we can offer the owner without putting him underwater. Does that make sense?
What do you mean put him underwater?
So let's say, for instance, on this 6404 Raleigh Street, we like it at 204, right? We want to buy it at 204 because if we spend $250,000 on it, it looks like we have $400,000 worth of product, right? So it's good, but we want to make sure that they don't owe more than $204,000 on their note, on their loan. We want to make sure that if we offer $204,000, they don't owe $250,000, and it's going to be an impossible situation. Does that make sense?
All right.
We can't offer
So
less
if
than
they
what they
have
owe on
loans-
a property.
All right.
Well, we can.
So if they
It's
have
called a
loans
short
with
sale.
the bank. Oh.
Well, this is a
Alright.
foreclosure, but let's say we're making an offer to, an individual or a company that owns a property, and if they owe more on it than we can offer, we want to know that up front. Does that make sense?
All right. Yes.
Right. So if we're making an offer on a property of $100,000 and they owe $200,000, well, that's going to be a difficult proposition, isn't it? So we don't want to do that. That's what's called a short sale. And by the way, we've done a ton of short sales. Short sales are doable, but you want to know going on the front end exactly what that seller or the person that your prospect owes on a property. So that's going to be the next training that you have right here. Determine debt on a property using the clerk and recorder. Okay. So I'll send that over to you.
Alright.
But in the meantime, if you could finish up your valuation on Raleigh, and I'm going to go through the rest of your leads for the week. Congratulations. You did a great job. You have 12, actually you have 13 with that IRS deal. You have 13 leads in 1 week, and all of them look like they have prospect. So great job. Do you have any
Thank you.
questions?
I do. So while I was doing the valuation for the property on the next court, then the last part, trying to figure out how much will cost for me to repair the property, and I can't get that right. Our price just too off because I don't know how many square feet I want to add on, and I don't know what's the square feet I need to fix it, and
Right.
I don't know how to estimate that. I have
Sure.
any experience
And
to estimate that at all.
estimating is it's an involved process. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you. So here's your process right now. So the next step is determine the debt on the property using the clerk and recorder. And then we're going to get into estimating property renovation costs. Okay.
All right.
And what I wanted to do is when I'm down there with you in person, I'm going to give you the cheat sheet for it. And you and I are going to walk at least a couple properties, as many as we can get through on Friday in a couple hours. Okay.
That's
And what I
great.
want to do
I'm
is
really excited about it.
I want to educate you from the ground up. Everything from the foundation, the sewer line, water line, electrical service, all the way to the roof. And you're going to have a cheat sheet. It has 3,600 line items. And that sounds scary, but really, once you have it down, I can literally walk into a property and within 2 minutes tell you what the estimate is for the renovations and be within a few $1,000s. So you'll be very, very savvy. After doing about 100 of them, you'll be as quick as me, if not better. Okay. But at first, it's going to take you about an hour. It'll take you a half hour to an hour to do a very detailed valuation for estimate of construction. But we're not going to get into that kind of detail until after we have a property under contract. So what we want to do is called a rough valuation first. So we do a rough estimate. Do you remember how I've been working with you on these last few properties? And I said, hey, it's a $60,000 renovation, or it's $100,000, right? So a very quick, rough number. That's all you need to make your offer. And then once you have an accepted offer, then we're going to go in and we're going to really refine that number through the line item budget or the LIB. So that's what we'll go through on Friday in person with you.
I'm very
Okay.
excited.
This is going to be fun. I
Yeah.
love walking properties. So we're going to have a blast. Thank you. Do you have any other questions before I let you go? And just to be clear on where we're going from here, you're going to go ahead and evaluate Raleigh. And then you're going to go ahead and learn that next video when I get it to you, determining the debt on the property using the clerk and recorder. And then, of course, on Friday when I'm with you in person, then we'll get into this third piece of the puzzle, estimating property renovations.
Yeah. So I have another question. So we will estimate the property value at the low end and the high end. So for property 2345 Linnaeus Court, your value and the data is the high end will be 295K, and the low end is 265. Sorry, and the wrong numbers.
Sure.
So your number is 227 and 218, and my number is 232 and 216. Do you think my numbers are too off from yours, or
Not at
kind of
all.
close?
And I'll tell you right now, and it takes time. It takes time to get a good feel for what you like for a value. But just to let you know, this is just an opinion of value, right? So I'm just shooting off the cuff. I'm taking the information that we have, I'm absorbing it, and then I'm just spitting out a number pretty quickly. I'm using the CMA, right, the comparative market analysis tool on our matrix system to get most of the numbers. But let's just go into the matrix real quick. And let's go back to the single line
Right.
display. And this is how I do my numbers most of the time, right? I, pick out the comparable properties. So we have these properties here. Now let's just do this. To make it to cheat it, you need at least 3, and you're looking for upwards of 6. We have 4. So we're going to go with it. But out of these 4, if you remember right, one of them is a double, which is right here. So we're just going to click off that. So we have 3, which is the minimum. I'll do the quick CMA, and this is how I get my low and high. Usually. Sometimes I just guess. I just assimilate the numbers that we've generated looking at the different comparables. But right now, what we're looking at is 329. What did I say? I said 325, right? And we said a sold price is 336. We said the high is 350. So it could be 336 the high. The low could be 329. We went with the high being 350 and the low being 325. So it just really depends on how you're feeling that day and how it feels to you. But don't think that it has to be specific. It doesn't, Sue. Just go with it and try to be as conservative and use as many resources as you can to come to the numbers. And think of it like an argument, like a lawyer would. How would you support that value? For instance, we supported the value by saying, well, listen, your high in the area is 360,000, right? So 350 isn't a far stretch. Now, this under contract for 329, or I'm sorry, where is it? Right here. This one's under, 293. It's small. It's sold for above asking price. It's small, and it doesn't have another extra lot.
Okay.
Right? So I just justified my way right to a 325 bottom, low end, and a 350 high end. I see it being at least 350 because it has that extra lot. Because our high end over here is we have a high end of 360 and it doesn't even come with an extra lot, right? This one right here, $360,000 sold in 36 days. Sold in September, by the way. And it's the same size, 1915 square feet. It's a little bigger here, but it's 4-bedroom, 3-bath. We're a 5-bedroom, 3-bath, right? So everything kind of rolls with it, but it doesn't have a lot to sell off the back either, right?
Right.
So it's just a corner lot. So you have to just kind of measure and get a feel for and juggle what you're absorbing as far as the comparable properties, and then spit out a number that you're comfortable with. Cool?
Okay.
You're doing great, by the way. You're picking this up incredibly fast. The last gentleman I taught, Scott, like I told you, he did $400,000 plus his first year, and he was still working full time. Now he's a full time real estate broker, and I'm buying developments from him, and he's incredibly busy and loves his work. So he was a carpenter that didn't like his job, and here you are, a dancer, doesn't like her job. So we're going to get you there, and you're doing very, very good. You're doing a great job. All right, cool, kid. Well, I'll talk to you here soon. Have a great night. Enjoy that Raleigh valuation, and I'll give you a bell tomorrow and let you know when I can meet with you on Friday. Okay?
Cool. That's nice. Thank you so much.
Okay, Sue. Have a great night. I'm excited for you. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Okay. Bye.